Welcome to the EmpowerHer Wellness Podcast. I'm Morgan, and I'm thrilled to be your host and wellness coach as we navigate the path to a healthier, more confident you. As the owner of Get Fit With Me, I bring years of experience in personal training, nutrition, and coaching to each episode. Join me as we explore practical tips and strategies for fitness, nutrition, mindset, and more, all tailored for busy women just like you. Let's empower your wellness journey and achieve lasting transformation together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of the EmpowerHer Wellness Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Morgan Ekovich. Today, we are joined here with Melanie Zell, who is the owner of Early Bird Organizing. She's had her business since 2018. I've known Melanie for a couple of years now. We've been in a few local networking groups, and recently she's been taking our summer strength training boot camp. And I was thinking through some things that busy moms, busy women, we struggle with of back to school, feeling like there's always too much crap around. And I thought, oh my goodness, I would love to have her on to talk about how we can declutter our lives and actually make a space functional. Because I think so often we do this big overhaul, but then we don't know how to make it functional for every day to day. So I am super excited. For those of you who don't know, organizing and cleaning is a passion of mine. I love it. I'm one of those people that it's one of my favorite things to do. So what she does as her full-time job is kind of jealous of because I love it so much. So welcome, Melanie. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Morgan. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about how you started Early Bird Organizing. What kind of drew you to this? Have you always been the organizational type, or has it kind of transitioned through life and you just kind of found your passion?
I've always been organized. I have a couple core memories from childhood where I had friends sleeping over and I would set out everything to do. And my mom's like, you're not supposed to get it beforehand. You're supposed to do it together. So it's kind of crushed my dream there. And then we had this hall closet. I don't know. I must have been 10 or 11. It was a mess. So I just took everything out and reorganized it. So yes, I've been very organized my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So organized your whole life, and only since 2018 though you've had Early Bird Organizing. So what made you start a business in this? Because
I had a business. I used to do medical transcription. So it was my own company. I would go in the old days, I'd go and pick up the little cassettes from doctors and come home and type it and return. And then we got to do it digitally. Well, unfortunately, the job kind of became obsolete. Wasn't getting the clients because they can do it with their own handheld recorder. Dragon, everything does that now. So I decided to close. And I met this wonderful woman who needed a house cleaner, personal assistant. So I worked for her for 2 days a week, and she just let me have at her house. She just did anything. So yeah, it was great. So I would do the basement, the cupboards, and just that reaction she got, it was just so joyful. Everything felt lighter. Everything had a home. So that's what drew me into it. And she's the one that helped me pursue opening my business.
that is so awesome. So kind of share a little bit about your process. I know we've talked a little bit about, do you typically have your clients work with you? Do you typically do it on your own? Do you take all the Goodwill stuff, or do you leave it for them to have it sit in the back of the car for 6 months? What is some of that process when you're working with a client?
Usually I work with a client because you could say, have at it. Well, I don't know what you want to get rid of. Something might have a special meaning. And this way we can talk through things. And if they're on the fence about getting rid of something, I can kind of talk them into letting it go. I do have a couple clients where I'll just go in and reset the house. Give me the code, get in, do my thing, and leave. And yes, I do take the donations with me. So that's a load off because they would sit in the house or in the trunk of the car. So yeah, I load up my Jeep and just take it away. That's a big selling point.
Oh, yeah. The fact that you take away my Goodwill pile, that would you like to just come take my Goodwill pile that has been
Sure.
sitting in my basement?
Bring it to our next workout.
Perfect. The funny part is I drive right by Goodwill to take it to you. So when clients come to you, is it usually because they have too much clutter and they just don't know what to do with it? So if that's it, how do you navigate that?
Well, we go through things. Clutter is a big problem. The shopping has become too easy. You look on Amazon and you get it the next day. So it's overbuying is the biggest problem. I'm not a minimalist, but I really take care of what I bring in my home. I think probably too much about it. Does it have a space for one thing? It's got to go somewhere. It's not going to just take up space. I do the one in, one out rule. If I need a new shirt, I will let go of one if I don't like it anymore. So that's important. So yeah, the clutter is a huge, huge problem. And most of my clients just don't know where to start. They're just so overwhelmed. It's like, I don't know how to begin. So I pick a spot and we do it.
And how do you pick that spot? Like for me, my closet, I love the one in, one out. I just bought new workout clothes. I need to get rid of some old ones. So that's a good reminder for me of like, I just bought 2 pairs of pants and 2 shirts. I need to now pull 2. But like, what's a good, and I know everybody's house is different, but like, what's typically a good room for people to start with that's not super overwhelming, but also where they will see a difference in starting to declutter?
That's what it is. I will say pick a room that's really bothering you, and we'll start
Oh,
there.
okay.
Just because, I mean, the kitchen might be easier, like the island. You clear the island, you're going to see that immediately. You're going to see that, oh, that looks so good now. So then we can move on to something else. But I typically like to start with a room that's really packed. Some people have a second bedroom, a spare bedroom, and you can't walk in there. Maybe just boxes we need to get rid of, empty boxes. So we'll do that. And then you can kind of see a path of where to keep
Okay.
going.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm thinking of the junk drawer specifically. So somebody pulls open, we all have one.
Yes.
Some of them are big, some of them are small. Some of us have multiple, depending on the house or the area. When somebody like tackles that junk drawer, because I think we all at some point go through the junk drawer needs it again. What are some things that like do we need organizers? How many pens should we realistically keep? We all get, because I think those are things that to have guidance of like, you probably only need 10 of them. So how do you guide somebody through that of like those smaller spaces where things are just crammed in there?
Yeah, almost everyone has a junk drawer. I'm surprised when someone doesn't. It's like, oh my gosh, really? That's great. So basically we would take everything out and we would go through and most of the time it's like a part to something and like, I don't know what that goes to. And
Yeah.
it's hard to let go. So I typically say, let it go. And also a tip, if you get a part like that right on the baggie, what it goes to, so that
Mm.
you know what it goes to, and if you still have the product, you can keep it. So just a little side tip there.
That's a great tip. Mine
Yeah.
just go in a random jar.
Yes.
So then there's a jar, just random parts that I'm like, eventually somebody will be looking for this. And I will say, oh, go look in the jar.
Or put it in a little like Ziploc bag or
Yeah.
something, and then just write on it, and then you know what it is. Because I've done that
Yeah.
too. It's like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so check them out, see if they work for one thing,
Mhm.
and then throw them away. Keep maybe 10. I've probably got too many as well because you never know. But yeah, you'll find random things in their cords. You might not know what the cords go to.
Mm.
Again, you could put those in a baggie or put a little sticky note on the end so you know what it
Okay.
goes to. So yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Okay. And then essentially just find its real home. Because I think junk
yeah,
drawer just ends up being the drop spot because it's right there when you walk in. So then go find the home for all of the things.
right. And everyone's different. Like in my junk drawer, I'll have like, a screwdriver, just a couple tools
Mhm.
that I might need so I don't have to go in the garage. You could put batteries in there, some pens, a little bit of paper, zip ties, whichever. It depends on the person what they want to keep. If you put your lipstick on in the kitchen, put your lipstick in there. It doesn't matter. There's
Makes sense.
no rule. So do what makes you feel like it's going to be helpful.
Do what's functional. And
Yes.
then how do you keep the junk drawer from getting nuts again? Because I feel like it's just a hamster. It's just a cycle of like, this looks really good. And then all of a sudden the kids come in the house and you're like, no, put it back. And then you're like, we have company coming and it gets just pushed. So like, how do you kind of keep it so it doesn't get out of control?
It's going to be learning a habit. It takes what, 21 days to learn a new habit. I suggest taking a picture of the after of what it looks like. And then
Oh,
you can see when it gets out of hand, and then you can relieve, like, oh my God, that looks so good. And I felt so much less stress. So try to take that or take a mental picture and try to keep it that way. You can put bins, little bins in there or dividers, and just make a little home for each thing. Kids, you'll have to teach the kids to put things back, which I know is hard. I don't have kids in the house anymore, but it's just me and my husband, and he doesn't put things away, so I just do it. And that might be what the moms have to do.
and that, like, should it be something we have in rotation to like tackle? I see all these like cleaning lists of like, okay, on Mondays you clean the kitchen, on Tuesdays you clean the bath. I'm gonna be honest, that's not how my life works. But I know some people, and I see those lists, and I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. Should that be something, knowing it's an area that gets cluttered rather quickly? Should it be something that's on a regular rotation to just kind of tidy up, like we do, just like picking up clothes in the house type of thing?
Sure, you can do that. I don't know if I would necessarily pick a junk drawer to keep clean. Like you said, pick up things that you're going to see around the house that cause stress. Like you said, the laundry. Clean your island off. That's going to make the house look neat and tidy and stress. That's the problem. You want to get rid of that stress.
Okay.
You could do like a monthly rotation if you want on the junk drawer, but I don't see that being a weekly thing. There's more important things to do than keep the junk drawer tidy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's about a month that goes by that you're like, here are all of our receipts that we no longer need because it's all digital, but we still bring them home and we throw them in the junk drawer.
Yes, yes. Paper is a big problem for people.
So we're going to kind of jump back a little bit, but like, why does organizing and decluttering matter so much to our overall well being, our stress levels, and honestly, our overall health? Like, I know, but from somebody who helps other people with this specifically, like, what does it do for all of that for us?
My clients are just stressed. Just looking at that clutter, it's like it's taking up space in your brain. So making decisions is harder for you because you're just thinking about all the stuff everywhere. So definitely when I see my clients and we remove that clutter, they just say, "Oh my gosh, Melanie, I feel so much lighter. That dread is just gone." So definitely that clutter is causing mental stress. So eliminate that and that will definitely help you. I know I get overwhelmed with my own stuff. It's like, oh, I gotta get that clear. And then I feel so much better. I can just progress with my day. So yes, get rid of the clutter.
Okay. Which then, if you're mentally stressed, and I know we've talked about on other episodes, is like you don't want to go to your workout. You don't want to eat healthy because you have all this other. Kelly Meyerson in our sleep episode, she was talking about how to make your room a sanctuary. So, like, if you keep one room organized, have it be your bedroom so that when you go to bed, you're not stressed about all the clutter around you.
Yes.
And it's so impactful the amount of stuff. And we talked about this of, I saw an Instagram post and it said, it was a video of them like showing a basement of stuff. And it said, all of this used to be money. And like, if you were to tally up the cost of all of the things that you've probably bought that were like useless things, which I think that's probably why we hang on to them, is because we're like, I spent money on this. It's worth it. But you're like, no, it's not. It's junk. Move it on. How do you navigate that conversation with somebody? Because I think that's got to be really hard because it is money. It was hard earned money at one point that now we are throwing away, passing on, whatever term
Right.
we want to use.
Yeah, that is a hard thing. Like they say, oh, I paid so much money, but you didn't use it. So that's another where you want to think about, do you really need to buy that? Are you
Mm.
gonna use it? And do you have the space? But yeah, people, if they spent too much, they won't let it go. You're like you said, it's money wasted. You're not going to get that money back. Maybe you can gift it to somebody and that would make you have some happiness that it went to someone. But
Mhm.
yeah, try to think about it before you even buy it. It's money gone. You can't get it back.
Right. Okay. So What are some common mistakes that you typically see people who have tried on their own before they start working with you? What are some common mistakes that people typically have when it comes to either organizing or decluttering or both?
They bite off more than they can chew. It's all about starting small. I stress to my clients, don't do your closet, don't take it all out and put it on your bed because
Mm.
you're going to get so overwhelmed. And then it comes night when you want to sleep and you've got all that on your bed. So start small. That's the theme. Start small, baby steps. So maybe you do your t-shirts one day, go through that. And then if that takes 10 minutes and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is kind of easy, progress. But yeah, don't empty it out. Also, people like to buy bins. And I love bins, it's great, makes me happy. But you don't know what you have and what you're going to let go. So once you have what you're going to keep, then you know what's going to fit in that bin and how you want to organize it. So yeah,
Mm.
those are the two biggest mistakes.
Okay, because you're right. I've totally pulled everything out of my closet, partly because like I want to vacuum, but then
Sure.
all of a sudden I'm like, well, if it's out, I might as well go through it before it goes back in. And I'm like, ah, it's even like dumping the pile of laundry, clean laundry on your bed, and you're like, I'm gonna fold this. Bedtime comes around, you're like, this all is going on the ground.
Right. And it's stressful. Then you're like,
It
oh, why
is.
did I do that? So yes. I mean, if you have the bandwidth to empty your whole closet and get through it, congrats to you. But I know I don't do it that way. I just you get so it's overwhelming to see the amount. So yeah,
And
little steps.
and there's more there than we think there is. And I think that's probably what tricks us is we're like, oh, my closet's not that big. We can shove a lot of stuff in a small space. Something about us as humans, we're like, this drawer, we, I can get more in there. And you
Yes.
like pull it out. You're like, how is there a million things in this 4x4 drawer? How is that possible?
Oh yeah, that happens. People are like, oh, I was looking for that. That's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
I hear every single client has uttered that. "Oh, I was looking for that, and I just kind of chuckle to myself. And then I have to explain because it's like, oh, I love that. Great.
I love it because I think kids, like I hear that with my nanny kids. I'll be like going through a bag from their previous house and like, oh my goodness, I've been missing this. I'm like, you haven't talked about this in years.
Right.
Like it it's so funny. And like,
Mhm.
don't get me, I remember doing that as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, no, you can't get rid of that. That so let's kind of go that way for a second. You have kids in the house. You are starting to declutter. It is toys, it is birthdays, it is holidays. We are going into the school year. If not, honestly, there's probably multiple kids who have already started school because people start school now before Labor Day. That being said, how can parents kind of set the kids' rooms up for success with their clothes and their toys? And also like declutter, knowing that there's more stuff coming. Like before we know it, Christmas will be here as much as it like pains me to say. And that's just more stuff that doesn't have a home. So how can they navigate that?
Right. Toys, that's a big one. Usually the kids don't want to let go of it, which I understand. If you can rotate the toys, maybe work with them and say, hey, you haven't played with us in a while. Why don't we put it in a bin and maybe put it downstairs or in a spare closet and just let it go for a few months. And if they don't
Mm.
talk about it, get it out of there. Yeah. And
Okay.
then clothing, just sort by maybe put their pants in one drawer. You could even put a label on the outside of the drawer so they know where their clothes are, shirts, underwear, socks. Just have it nice and neatly organized.
Mhm.
And maybe they can help you put away the clothing so they do know where it belongs. Much easier.
Okay. And then my nanny kids are in a growth spurt. I feel like for the last 2 years, we've been in a constant growth spurt of like trying to get the small clothes out of the drawer before they put them on for the school day. And you're like, nope, that's too small, which like we've all been there. You like put on your high water pants and you're like, well, those fit last Friday. So like, do you have a system or any like tips on staying up on that? Because I think that could be a full-time job in itself of pulling out small clothes, putting in newer clothes, like just even that rotation. Any tips on that?
Maybe when you're doing the laundry and folding things, you could check the sizes. Maybe if they wore it a couple days ago and it's like, ooh, that's a little tight or short, pull it out then. Probably before the school year, if they haven't started, you could just do a quick scan of the clothing and pull it out now and then let it go. Or you could keep it if you hand-me-downs, if you have another kid who could wear that size in the future.
Okay. Yeah, the growth spurt is crazy. I remember, and my mom listens to this. I remember we got to a point where I was just growing that like we just bought big shoes for me. We're like, you're gonna just have big shoes because we don't know what size feet you are. Because like every week my feet would grow again. So we just bought a bigger size and we're like, we'll eventually grow into this. And that like didn't bother me, but I look back and I'm like, financially, that was probably the best decision. Because if not, you're buying me a new pair of tennis shoes every week because my feet continued to grow.
Oh yeah, I know my daughter went from like a 2 to a 5 within a week, and it's like, so we had to buy all new shoes. But luckily she had a friend that wore twos, so we passed those down. So that was great.
And I think now Facebook has so many of those cool, like, there's multiple Facebook pages. I know at least East Lansing and Okemos have them because I've been a part of them. I've done pickups before where, like, hey, I'm giving away these free sleeping bags. Who wants them? I'll put them on the porch. Or, like, I've got clothes here to here. And I'd rather give them to somebody who needs them than, like, and that's, I think, also a good place. That does take some bandwidth, though. So it's
Yes.
like, it's finding probably what works for you and the bandwidth in your family.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the free pages are great to do that. I'd rather give it to someone than stick it to Goodwill or something. So yeah, if you have friends or family, always check with them to see if they need the things at first, if you have the time. If not, it's easier, just let it go.
Sentimental stuff. So, in the room behind here, this would be my podcast studio. I'm in my mom's basement. Love that she's let me commandeered part of her basement that she doesn't use. In the room behind, though, I probably have 3 to 5, and I'm being probably conservative, baby boxes of things that I have kept because my Barbies, my horses, artwork, all the things that one mom and dad kept, and then the things that when I got older, I wanted to keep. So at some point, I do have to go through these sentimental things. How do you prepare yourself for one, going through them, and two, the letting go portion of it?
Sentimental is the hardest. Pictures, toys. You find with the older generation, they want their kids to take that stuff and the kids don't want it. And that upsets the parents. But then you get like you, if you want to keep your Barbies, maybe you don't like them anymore. I would suggest going through those in your horses, things like that. I'm not a mean organizer. I don't make you get rid of things. I'm not saying you have to get rid of that Barbie. So we talk through it. It's like, do you even like it? I mean, are you just hanging on to it because maybe your mom had it? So if they don't like it, then get it out of there. I look at people's faces. You can see if they're like, oh, I love that. They light up. Hang on to that. If it's like, then get rid of it. Someone else might enjoy that. But that's definitely the hardest part of the job is the sentimental and the photographs, things like that.
So you mentioned photographs. I have another
Mhm.
client. Her dad passed a few years ago, and she's got a storage unit they've got a few other things. They just don't have a lot of storage, but in that is multiple totes with family photo albums. And she's been struggling with figuring out at what point do I go through every album and show the kids all of these? How do I choose what photos to keep? Do I just send them somewhere and get it all digitalized? There was a generation where everything was printed.
Yes.
All of those photos they weren't in the cloud. We're like, hopefully they're going to continue to stay there. I'm the cloud generation. Don't get me wrong, I've got some printed photos, but like my mom even is the printed photo. Like we have baby books and like photo albums. How do you start to go through those when a family member has passed and you want to see these memories and pick out certain ones, but there's so many?
Right. That photos are hard. I tell people that it's okay to throw photos out. People are like, it's like you go through albums, you're like, who is that? People don't remember who these people are. And
Mm.
it's okay to throw that photo out. my mom has given me like pictures of me and my brother when we were kids because she's like, I'm gonna pass soon. That's what I'm thinking right now. So she gives it to me. So you could do that, but like the random trip to the zoo and there's animals, do you need to keep those? You might
Yeah.
have it in your memories. But yeah, it is okay to get rid of those pictures. If you are, what's the word, digitally inclined, you could scan all those, which is
Okay.
great. That's not my generation. I've got the photos. It's not something I would do, but that would be a great project for someone to take on. But yeah, that's going to be very time consuming to do that.
And I'm guessing start small. Go get
Yes.
one album, come home, look at it with the kids, pull out the photos you want, pitch the rest.
Yes. And I always tell people that's a good winter project when you can't really do anything outside. So
Yeah.
bring up a little box of pictures, go through it, put your favorite TV show on or podcast, and just kind of go through those. And if the kids want to look, that's great. And then they can keep some too. So make it a family project.
I love that. Okay, because I think unfortunately, just we all age. That unfortunately we're going to start running into that more and more of the photo generation, and it's hard to get rid of those things. It's hard to let go, but you're right. That's a zebra at the zoo. I don't really need the picture of the zebra.
Right. That's why digital is great because you can just delete it. You can just get rid of it. It's wonderful.
And you don't feel so bad about it, which
Right.
is funny. I'm like, oh, that was a blurry one. We'll just
Yeah.
delete.
Yeah, it's great now, but yes, people still have the photos and yeah, I always save sentimental pictures, things like that for the last because you're
Mm,
not going to see the progress as you would with the kitchen drawer or something like that. So always save those for last.
that makes sense. The areas that you think you'll see the least amount of progress, leave till the end. So you can start to kind of like anything we do, get that instant gratification, feel really good, and then you'll have the capacity to try something bigger, to do something
Yes.
that's going to take a little bit longer.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Okay. What are 2 to 3 small areas that women can organize today that would make a big difference in their life?
Your purse. Do your purse.
Purse.
Yes.
Okay.
You know how many receipts you'll probably find in there? Maybe there's suckers from the kids. Anything could be in there. So empty it all out. Just keep what you need. I keep my chapstick, Advil, things like that. Your wallet, you go through your wallet too, because that could have some things in there. Expired cards, rewards cards that you don't use, things like that. So a purse would be great. Another area would be like your entryway when you come in. If there's
Mm,
shoes everywhere, pick up the shoes.
shoes.
I know your face. That's a big problem for people. So shoes. So kind of
Shoes.
get those together and put them, if the kids keep them in their rooms, put them away. That will be like, you can walk.
Yeah, or you can at least just find the other pair. My favorite's
Oh,
like, well, where I even have a basket in my house and I just throw them in there. And sometimes I can't even find the bottom. I'm like, where's the other shoe? I'm like, oh, it made it to the bottom of the basket. Like, how did that happen?
right. Okay.
Okay, so purse, entryway. Any
Yes.
other
Your
suggestions?
nightstand in your bedroom. That's with
Mm,
along being able to sleep. So clear that off if you've got stuff and make that nice and clear. So I think that would help you for
okay. I want to do a whole nother episode because I can keep talking for
I know.
hours about this because I want to do one on like entryway and like how to create a drop zone that's actually functional because I think that's another thing. Kids bring home this from school or the mail comes in and then it just if it's not taken care of. So we are going to put another time on the books to kind of talk through that because like I said, we could talk for hours. So, that being said, though, what would you say would be 1 or 2 of the biggest like wins you've seen with clients? Is there a story that you're like, it went from this to this and it was so satisfying for me as well as the client? So, do you have like a big win story that like you always go back to that you're like, that's kind of what keeps me going is that one house that like I was able
You're
to help
you're
conquer.
putting me on the spot here. It's probably when I worked with the woman that I did the house cleaning for, Mary. Just seeing her reaction and she kept things that way. And then that made her keep going, keeping things neat. And also just clients that I work with, they're proud that like I'll come in and they said, look what I worked on by myself. So that is just so satisfying that they thought they could do it by themselves. And they did a great job. So that's a big win, seeing
Mm.
people keep going. They may say, oh, Melanie, I'm going to cancel that session because I kept going. And it's like, yay, if you can do it yourself, that's great.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big win. It makes me so happy.
I love that because you're right. Like, yeah, it's great to keep working with people, but same with me. I don't want you to have to feel like you need me forever.
Right,
Like, let's get you dialed in, go on your own, and you can always come back. Like,
right, right.
because,
Oh yeah, and I get clients that call me back saying, oh, Melanie, I'm sorry I got out of hand. And it's like, no worries. You can't keep it perfect forever. So I
no,
just come back and do a little reset. So
and it
it's
keeps you in
fine.
business.
Yeah, it does. And
You're
I get
like,
to see
it's
those people again.
okay. You're
Yeah,
like, life is busy, so it's
yes,
okay.
it is. I understand that. I was so busy this week and it's like everything just got pushed to the wayside. So I don't know how women do it with the little kids anymore and working full time. I, I don't know how they do it because I was stressed this week.
So, as we wrap up, do you have any last piece of advice that you can share with women on decluttering, organizing, any of that, that they can kind of feel like they can tackle this and feel confident in as they leave today's episode?
Again, start small. Take the baby steps. Start with, I don't know, your sock drawer. Go through your
Mm.
socks. There's probably some you don't wear. Get rid of them. And then you're like, oh, look at that. It's not so full. You can open the drawer. Just go through the little things. And I want to say organizing isn't one size fits all.
Mm.
So if something makes sense, like a category, you put it how it's going to make sense to you. You don't have to put things where you think it should go. Put it where you're going to remember and keep it
Mm.
functional. You don't have to make it all pretty, make it functional. So then you'll put it back in its home.
Yeah. That's great advice because you're right. We all think like, oh, it needs to go in the office because that's where other people would put it. But
Mhm.
like, if you use it in the kitchen, keep it in the kitchen. Keep it where you're
Right.
going to use it. That's,
Mhm.
I love that piece of advice. So, how can people find you? How can they work with you? How can they learn more about you?
Well, I have a website. So it's earlybirdorganizing.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under Early Bird Organizing. You can give me a call. They can look at my projects on my website. I'd be more than happy to help. That's just what I love to do. It's my passion.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I love before and after photos. I don't think I follow you on Instagram. I know we're friends on Facebook,
Yes,
but I'm going to go follow you on Instagram. Do you post before and after photos?
I do. I do. I have to get a little better at it because, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm not all into that social media. I'm trying. I'm getting better. But yes, I do before and after. I don't put names. People always worry. Oh, I said, don't worry. I don't disclose who it is unless they want me to,
Yeah.
because it might turn out so great.
Awesome. And then with that, I just want to thank all of you who have tuned in. Next week is going to be a really big episode. It will be our official 1 year mark of the Empower Her Wellness podcast. This was our last episode of our first year, which is so crazy to think that we've already had a year of the Empower Her Wellness podcast. So remember, start small. Really, that advice goes to, I think, every single person that I've had on here as a guest, whether it's organizing or nutrition or travel or hormones, whatever it is, we need to start small. And remember, if you enjoyed this episode and there's somebody else in your life that needs to hear this episode because you're thinking, oh, yeah, their life is a hot mess and they need some help, please open up your phone, click that share button, and then share this on your story. Share this with a friend. Tell them they need to listen. So until next time, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for tuning in to the Empower Her Wellness Podcast. I hope you found today's episode inspiring and packed with actionable tips. Remember, your journey to becoming the strongest, most confident version of yourself is just beginning. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and join our community of empowered women. Until next time, stay strong and stay confident.